Yo, and hello everybody, Mike here, baseball collector, and this is a video that has been a long time in the making. Need to give a special shout out before I get going to Ben, who is really my main encouragement to do this. But the reality is, you guys see me show cards all the time, and I love my cards. But truthfully, I love my autograph collection even more. And I have been collecting autographs for since I was a kid, when my dad used to go to the ballpark and get autographs for me from guys like Phil Rizzuto and Brooks Robinson and Al Kaline when he was working in the booth. And I never just loved anything more than autographs. And I don't know if it's because the personal touch to it, the connection with the player, whatever, it just has always meant more to me. And I feel like I have built an incredibly awesome autograph collection. I'm actually quite proud of it. And what you're going to see in the next however long is what I consider to be my 50 best autographs. Now, best is a subjective term. I will grant you that. So what is best? It's not the same to everybody. Is it the most valuable? Sometimes. Is it the coolest? Yes. It's kind of a combination of things for me. Because a lot of these items, truthfully, are very hard to value because autograph values are based on so many different pieces of nuance, whether it's how bold the signature is, what item it's on, is it a multi-signed piece, single-signed, baseball, poster, you name it, all of the above. There is so much that goes into valuing an autograph. It's not just who the player is, it's all those other things too. And so I don't really have a value for my autograph collection because of that factor that it's so hard to value. If I know some things that are pretty easy, I'll let you know as we go through it. But I would say buckle up and be ready. There's all kinds of stuff in this video of my 50 best items. And I intentionally chose a lot of different mediums. And I also tried to stay away from having just a single player represented too much in the top 50. So you're going to see a lot of different players, a lot of different mediums on which they signed. And yeah, I'll talk about them as we go. So here we go. All right, here we go. I'm going to talk about things as I show them. So again, this may be a super long video, but I don't care. You'll enjoy it. I promise. The first item I'm going to start with actually is probably the most sentimental item in my collection. If you were to say, Mike, you had to sell everything, this is one thing that I just wouldn't sell. And it's because it's from my dad. This is a baseball that my dad carried around with him in a Ziploc bag as he, worked Rangers games. And he would see players and get them to sign it. This ball has traveled with me for a long time, ever since I got it. And I'm going to show you who's on it. Mickey Mantle on the sweet spot with it kind of fading and I guess rubbing off even. But that is Mickey Mantle. On this panel, you've got George Kell, Al Kaline, Brooks Robinson. So these are all players that spent some time calling games on television. That's why they're here, because my dad would see them in the booth. Don Drysdale and Phil Rizzuto on that panel. Let's see, up here you've got Harmon Killebrew, Reggie Jackson, Nolan Ryan. And then over here, two great announcers, Ernie Harwell, Tigers great, and Mel Allen, Yankees great announcer. So yeah, it's on an old Bobby Brown ball. But my dad would carry this around. Oh, wait, no, I did that one. Killebrew, Jackson, Ryan. So my dad would carry this ball around, and it just meant a lot to me. So that's the most sentimental item in my collection. I'm gonna show you another baseball while I'm at it. These will be the only two baseballs I show. This is from the 1992 All-Star game. You got a Fay Vincent All-Star ball there. And this is covered. There's McGuire, Paul Molitor, Dennis Eckersley, King Griffey Jr., I think that's Carlos Baerga right there. Let's see who's on the sweet spot. Clemens, I think. No, who's that? That's Roger Clemens, yeah. Tom Kelly, the manager. Edgar Martinez, Wade Boggs. Is that Kyler? God, what was his name? He won't be the only Kyler you see in this video. Ruben Sierra. Roberto Alomar. Charles Nagy. Let's see. Keep going. I already showed that panel. This panel, maybe? So this is just a really cool, I actually have two of these. I have another year as well, but I thought I'd just show one here. I wrote down a list, and I kind of went through everything, and Boggs, Martinez, yeah, I highlighted the Hall of Famers that were on there, but all the different players that are there. Oh, Puckett, missing. Oh, who was it missing? That was at the game. There's who's missing. I have another All-Star ball with Puckett on it, but I just grabbed this one just to show you. So I don't do a ton of autographed baseballs, but I have a few. All right, now we're gonna get into some cards. I've got a lot of cards to show in my 50 best. Let's start with these because these are just awesome. 1992 Upper Deck Heroes. This is a insert basically that would come. It was kind of the first, this series, and I'll get to another one in a minute, but the first series of pack pulled autographs, this series kind of started it all. And here's the Ted Williams. Not cheap. I got this at the National last year, I believe. I bought it from Ash, actually. So there's the Williams. I'm gonna go backwards. 91, they had Hank Aaron. And I've actually got all of these that they did in baseball. There's a Joe Morgan and Johnny Bench that didn't make the cut, but Nolan Ryan sure did. He might be the guy you see the most on today on autographs, but there's the Nolan Ryan. Awesomeness there. I'm not even counting. Like, these aren't in any order. These are just 50 of my best items. I'm just gonna show, mainly themed by style and medium. Reggie Jackson, this is the one that started it all. This was the first pack pulled autograph, 1990 Upper Deck, numbered to 2500 as they all were. And Chase the Reggie was what it said. And I chased the Reggie. It was a big card when I finally got it. Okay, there's those. Next up, this guy right here, Willie Wells. Not an easy autograph. Negro League star, and just a hard auto to get, especially on a card. And this is a Frisch card, you know, Larry Frisch. These were done in 86, and he actually dated the autograph October 12th, 1987. So I was 13 years old back then when he signed this. But I got this at an auction long time ago because I needed wanted a Wells autograph in my collection. It's the only one I have of this player. And I just wanted to have a cool old Negro Leaguer. There's gonna be a lot of guys you guys might see today that you're like, who is that? Well, go look them up because they're awesome. This card is great. This is Sandy Koufax, obviously. This is I think I've participated in 2 group breaks like in my life. And one of them was 2017. I was in a Topps Transcendent break. And the card I ended up getting in that break was this awesome Sandy Koufax. Numbered to 10, purple. It's a purple version. Gem Mint 10, it came back. Just so cool. And these are pricey. Sandy Koufax card, you know, pulled cards, even now, are not cheap. So, got that. You guys know I love my playing days, playing era cards that are signed. And I I wanted to have a 52 tops represented here. I have several signed by Hall of Famers, but this one just, even though Feller signed an absolute ton over his life, you don't see these signed all the time. And that's what I think makes these unique, is it makes signed, like you can buy a 52 tops Feller, getting one signed is a different story. There's many less of those than there are just the regular card. And maybe that's what attracts me to signed cards, because there's just not as many of them. But love that Bob Feller, love the yellow. The autograph just pops on that. This was an Atlantic City national purchase. Derek Jeter, 1993 SP foil. Cards a 5, autos a 10. When I buy autographs, by the way, I don't care usually about the condition of the card. That is so far down the importance factor for me, because it also makes it reasonably priced so that I can actually get it. And so there was a guy, oh, that's much better right there. There was a guy at the National that year in Atlantic City that had an entire case full of these. And so I went through and found the one that I wanted the Hall of Fame inscription. And so this one just stood out to me, and great place to autograph. Jim hit 10 on the auto. So yeah, that's the one I ended up getting. This is a purchase, I think Chicago, not 2024, but 2022 maybe. And this I bought from my friend Rob, who has an amazing autograph collection of his own. And he was kind enough to sell me this Willie Mays 1966 tops. And it's the only Playing Days Mays that I have signed. And so I just am thrilled to at least have one. I bought it from him at the YouTube get-together that year, believe it or not. So Mays makes an appearance. I love regular Playing Days cards. I also really love Hall of Fame rookie signed. This is a great one here, Rod Carew. The Carew card's already not cheap. And again, to find one signed, even better. X5 on the card, 10 on the auto. That's awesome. Got some more Hall of Fame rookies. How about Johnny Bench? Hall of Fame 1989. This is just one of those, I feel like I paid cheap when I bought it. I know Christian Missouri got one of these signed at the National. It'd be nice if he had the wherewithal to zip his fly, but what are you gonna do? You guys know what I'm talking about. Auto 10 on this. This was a national pickup years ago. Love it. How about the other big rookie in 68, Nolan Ryan? This I actually got from Garrett. And just thrilled to have it. Love the Hall of Fame inscription. Love it when it says 68 tops. Yeah, Nolan. Kind of a, I guess, honorable mention. Didn't really make the top 50, but I just love this card. So the 69, let me put his rookie down. There's the 69, and it says Miracle Mets on it, inscription. And his first solo card. There's the Nolan Ryan hologram. And yeah, just so cool looking. I have probably 3 or 4 more Playing Days Nolans that are signed, but not a ton. All right. Hall of Fame autographs come in all shapes and sizes. Kiki Kyler, relatively rare Hall of Famer. He's one I had looked for a long time. And so my goal in my collection is to have at least one Hall of Famer autograph of everybody that's reasonable, and to get the autograph graded, because there is a registry for this. And so this is my Kiki Kyler. I just love the way his signature looks. The Kiki is just so cool. And this is just on a cut. Even says Cubs on the back, whoever he played for the Cubs, that's right. So there's that one. some rarer Hall of Famers are going to be pictured, and some greats of all time, like this guy. This is my Honus Wagner autograph in my collection. This is one I actually bought from Bill, the Hall of Fame collector. And we did the deal, like finished the deal at a Yankees game with Joe Silver-Jackify. We were at a Yankees game, and he brought this, and I had already paid him there. I can't remember, but he had this one. And I'm not a giant fan of cuts like this where it's done this way, but when it's Honus Wagner, I kind of just took what I could get, and love that. So that's my Honus Wagner. You're gonna see a lot of Dick Perez stuff here. I pulled this mantle. It's because it's the most expensive one in this set, and that is the Hall of Fame Heroes 1983 Donruss. This set, 44 card set, I believe, is the one that really got me into Hall of Famers back in the early to mid 80s. I would see these cards, they were super cheap, and you could get cards of these greats, and on the back it told you about their life and their accomplishments on the field. And so I would read this and learn. Of course, Mantle's number 7 in the set makes sense, but I really just love this set. I have all of them that can be signed from this set by the Hall of Famer signed. And the Mantle's just gorgeous. It's look at that. So there's that. Oh, Joe D. DiMaggio stuff, not hard to find, but certainly not cheap. And this was a set that came out in 1992. Obviously, you can read that. And there were these legend cards for Joe DiMaggio, and the autograph actually is not on the front. On the back, and there were 2,500 of these done, I think. Yeah, this is number 2364. There were 5 cards in the set, and there's autograph versions of each one. And so there's the front, but the back is so cool. Just a great Joe DiMaggio script. You'd think they would know how big Joe DiMaggio signed and make the picture smaller and give him opportunity to sign it, but still absolutely love this. Another honorable mention from Joe D. They also in '93 did this special Joe DiMaggio set in Pinnacle, and that's this one right here. I actually have one of the sets. Each one of them comes with a Joe DiMaggio autograph. There are different poses. This was the Streak, I think it's called. Maybe it says it up here. I can't remember. I think it's called the Streak, but I don't know. There are 5 different versions of this card that are all signed, and super just great image. What's weird about it is the card is oddly sized. So you can see it's actually taller and thinner than a regular card. So it came in this weird holder, and I really just slabbed this, not because I was worried about authenticity, but I just wanted it in something where I could put it away properly in a regular tall boy holder. But yeah, so that's an honorable mention. That actually didn't even make the top 50. Sorry, Joe, but you did with your other card. Next Dick Perez representation is the Hall of Fame postcard set. This is the Hank Greenberg. Greenberg was one of the early series. I can't remember exactly. 3rd series, there you go. And Greenberg's kind of a toughie to find, certainly expensive. Greenberg was a great signer. Like, he signed a whole lot there's a lot of Hank Greenberg stuff signed, but this is, I just love this image. I love this card of the great Hank Greenberg, and so I wanted him to be in this top 50. I love the patch on the, I mean, it's beautiful. All right, I have a lot of, I'll call them index cards, postcards, government postcards, whatever. This is one of my favorites, Sam Crawford. If you don't know who Sam Crawford is, you should look up his stats. He was pretty amazing. And why this one stands out to me is, A, he wrote his nickname Wahoo Sam Crawford, because he was part American Indian. But I also love the desist down here. This must have been somebody that had sent autograph requests to him multiple times, and he finally got fed up and wrote desist. Like, here's your last one, kid. Whoever it was, it's JSA and PSA certified. So Wahoo Sam Crawford is that's just so cool. Now I prefer my Hall of Famers on postcards to be dated. Tris Speaker, another all-time great. And this is just an awesome like cut, but it's part of a postcard, like somebody cut it out, because on the back you can see that it's dated up there. Let's see, when is that? 1945, I believe, is when this is dated, out of Cleveland, Ohio. So there's that one for Tris Speaker. So there's a speaker. Next up, Larry Lajoie, Nap Lajoie. Again, if you don't know who these people are, go look them up. They are absolute legends of the game. This is another postcard that he personally dated 11/4/1955. There's no markings on the back. But absolutely love pieces like this. Old-timey paper. Great signature. So there's a Nap Lajoie. How about some big home run guys? How about Mel Ott? This is my cleanest Ott. I have a couple. I have one or two more Mel Otts in the collection, but this one's the cleanest. It's on a government postcard. It's dated 1956. So again, back in the day, people would send off a self-addressed postcard and have the players sign it, and they would send it back. That was through the mail autographs back in the day, in the 50s and 60s. Here's another one, a great slugger, Jimmy Fox, XX. The person had written a line there for Fox to sign on. And you can see the marks from going through the postal machine, which isn't ideal, but this one's dated 1941, January 20th, 1941. That's awesome. It's weird though, there's no return address, so interesting. Don't know what to make of that. Jimmy Fox, look at that great signature. So awesome. Some great sluggers. Another kind of under the radar slugger is this guy, Chuck Klein. Tough auto. And when I say tough, I don't mean like impossible, just tough. And certainly not cheap, but this is a cut. Nothing on the back, but Chuck Klein, one of those, played for the Phillies, some other teams, but definitely an underrated Hall of Famer. Not a lot of people know about Chuck Klein, which is why his autograph is more expensive. I like getting the weird stuff too. This is so cool. This is, if you pause this and read this, it talks about basically that he's going to be authorized to be in a film. This is him saying, yeah, it's okay to use my likeness and in a motion picture about Connie Mack. And it's signed by Al Simmons, who is the catcher for the great Connie Mack teams. This is dated 1950. So stuff like this, I just love. Like there's so much of this stuff you're going to see that I just consider history and absolutely love it. It's actually in a Beckett slab, JSA authenticated. Love that. This is the first of many, many, many multi-signed pieces you're going to see. Man, yeah, New York Yankees. Multi-signed, you've got George Selkirk, Ben Chapman, Tony Lazzeri, who's actually a harder autograph than Lou Gehrig, who's right next, and then Frank Crosetti. So some great Yankees represented on there. I bought it for the Gehrig obviously, but I didn't have a Lazzari. This is the only Lazzari and the only Gehrig that I have in the collection. And so glad to have them. Okay, let's talk about this one. This is Sam Thompson. If you don't know who Sam Thompson is, he played in the late 1800s, early 1900s. This is easily the rarest Hall of Fame autograph that I own. And this is actually a postcard that he wrote in 1907. Here's the other side of it. It's like this very, because I bought it raw and sent it in to get authenticated. It's incredibly glittery and, you know, greetings from Detroit is what it says on it. And yeah, Sam Thompson, great player. It says Uncle Sam right there. There are only 5 known examples of his autograph. I have one. Bill, the Hall of Fame collector, has one. Frank has the best Hall of Fame autograph collection I've ever seen. He has one as well. And even though it's only signed Uncle Sam, I don't care, because when something's this rare, it is absolutely just awesome to have one. So yeah, 1907, this postcard was sent. It's crazy. Actually got this on eBay from a member of Sam Thompson's family, because this was written to his niece at the time. But yeah, awesome. Got to move faster, but I'm just enjoying this. How about Cy Young? This is my Cy Young in my collection. Love how big and just bold his autograph is. Just huge letters. It takes up, you know, a huge part of the postcard. This one is not dated, but absolutely love that. You got to have a Cy Young. How about a Jackie? This is on an old postcard, and he wrote best wishes, Jackie Robinson. Postcard's pretty beat up, but it is from August 26th, 1955. I love that because that's the year the Dodgers won the World Series, the only year they won the World Series in Brooklyn, if I remember right, and one of Jackie's last seasons. So thrilled to have it. That's my only Jackie, and absolutely love it. Don't need to get another one. This one works just fine. Oh man, let's see. I want to show this one next. That is Roberto Clemente. This is an old album page, and it's kind of multi-signed. You've got Bob Veal, who's a great pitcher for them, also signed this, and Gene Alley on the back. And yeah, Clemente is the big one here. This is my only Clemente, but it's on this beautiful album page. I'm glad it's, you know, in the big holder. That's fine. I want it protected, but just a beautifully clean Roberto Clemente signature. Yeah, that works. Some big boys here. Grover Cleveland Alexander on an album page. And they call it a cut, but it's not really. It's an album page. And there's nothing on the back. It's just GC Alexander. That was a big one when I got that one. It was one of those amazing, you know, top level Hall of Famers that I really just wanted to get. How about some first class guys, like first class of the Hall of Fame? How about Walter Johnson? So this is basically an envelope. You can see there. And on this envelope, it was addressed to Blaine Trimmer. But Walter Johnson signed it right there. It's got the old baseball centennial stamp, I believe that is. But yeah, let me show you the autograph. It's beautiful. And it's funny how, like with my autographs, Frankenstein collections are totally fine. Like I have zero desire to send this in and get it crossed over into another slab. It's already in a slab and there's nothing wrong with it. So keeping it right where it is just fine by me. It makes storage a pain, but I'll deal with that to have this kind of stuff. So there's that one. How about another kind of envelope? This is, I guess they call these cachets or first day covers or whatever. There's the Centennial stamp again. And this one's actually got a Cooperstown stamp on it. Or what I don't know is, was this actually signed or done at the opening of the Hall of Fame in 1939? I don't know. But it is signed by Eddie Collins. Eddie Collins is one of the best players you've probably never heard of. He was, guys, top 2 or 3 second baseman of all time. I think he played second. Maybe he played short. I can't remember off the top of my head. But Eddie Collins, not an easy signature, for sure. But I don't know that I've ever even shown this item on my channel. I've had it forever. But truth, like some of these, this may be like their debut on the Baseball Collector channel. But Eddie Collins, there you can see it's like an envelope. So cool. All right. Again, this isn't in order, because if it was in order, this would be my most expensive autograph. But it's not. This is Babe Ruth. This is my Babe Ruth. It's a cut. It's a cut that's actually been glued onto another piece of paper to maybe be in an album or something, I would guess, but I don't really know that. But you see this line here. It's like the paper was exposed versus covered up over here. So who knows how this was stored for however many years and decades before it saw the light of day. And this came back, I got it, it was PSA, it had a full letter PSA, and I sent it in to get it slabbed, mainly for protection. And but it came back a Gem Mint 10 auto. Truthfully, I don't know. I mean, I can guess this would be 8 to 10,000, maybe more. I don't know. Just genuinely don't know. And I really don't think about that a whole lot. I'm just glad I have a Babe Ruth in the collection. This I just got. This is the Perez Steel Great Moments. These are large cabinet style cards based on the T3. I just got this at the National this year and was thrilled to find it, truthfully. This is a very rare item. Roy Campanella. These Great Moments, you don't see them signed by him a lot. Super. I mean, I paid $1,100 for it, so was happy to do that. Truthfully, it's that valuable and that important to my collection to work on the Dick Perez stuff. So yeah, that's in the top 50. So that's going. I'm just gonna put it back where it usually sits, back here. You can stand there. All right, I don't have a ton of signed checks, but I do have a few, and I'm gonna show one here. I love this. This is a New York Yankees check, American League Baseball Club of New York. This is 1927. So this is a big year in the New York Yankees history, if you know. All of those little things I think about when I pick up items. So this is from the Murderers Row year, 1927. And it is signed by not one, but 2 Hall of Famers. The check was made to A.A. Woods. And I think I did homework one time, and he was like a trainer or like a clubhouse person or something, but it was for $300, which was a lot of money back in 1927. And the 2 Hall of Famers are Jacob Ruppert, who was the president of the club, and Ed Barrow up there. So it's, again, the multi-sign type piece that I just love. On the back, it's just, canceled and all that kind of stuff. But that's his salary for July. That was his monthly salary. Look at that. $350 was his monthly salary. Less apparently he had an advance, so he got $300. But yeah, stuff like that. Again, to me, this is history, and I'd never cut up something like this or do anything other than keep it just the way it is. I love stuff like that. Another check that I've had a long time and so glad I bought it when I did is this one. Mr. Ty Cobb. 8 on the signature. Actually, I think that's generous. So Cobb was notorious for signing and writing in green ink, especially checks. You'll see there's a lot of Ty Cobb checks on the market. There's tons of them. His family released them or something. This one is from 1955. I love it's got his name up there. First National Bank. It was to his for his telephone bill for $228. So I guess he had a lot of long distance. Back in the day, guys, you had to pay for long distance if you were calling across the country. But there's the beautiful Ty Cobb signature on there. Tyrus Raymond Cobb. I love that it's full name. I love that it's dated, all those things. And so yeah, there's a kind of the stamp on there, but the cancellation, where they perforate the check is not going through the name. So yeah, that's my Ty Cobb. I kind of like letters too. Again, these historically significant things. Here's one from the Judges Chambers, United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois in Chicago, 1906. He says here, I will not detain your nephew on the jury after the present hearing concluded, which will be sometime today. I appreciate the fix you are in. So that's code for, that's 1906 talk for your nephew's in a pickle and you guys can't, you must be going through a hard time or something. And it's signed by none other than the first commissioner of baseball, Kennesaw Mountain Landis. So Landis has a very polarizing baseball career, especially historically speaking. People look back and he's not well regarded for a lot of really good reasons why he's not thought of great, but he was the first commissioner. This was pre-commissioner days. This was when he was still just a judge. And again, love pieces like that. How about another letter? This is Brooklyn, 1949. This is a letter written by Branch Rickey and signed by Branch Rickey. Probably not written by Branch Rickey. He probably had a secretary type it up, but he did sign it right there. I love the Dodgers letterhead. I mean, this is awesome. He was actually writing it to, if this will focus, let's see, Walter O'Malley, who's another Hall of Famer. And dear Walter, I think you'll be interested in the results of the draft by and from the Brooklyn organization. I'm enclosing a memorandum covering the subject. So he's talking about the draft. That's pretty neat. But Branch Rickey, obviously integral in baseball history for being a pioneer and leading to Jackie Robinson's debut in the major leagues. Yeah, I love that. I have another letter. I need to dig it out here. It's kind of at the bottom. Okay, this one. This is huge, by the way, so I'll do my best. This is a letter from the Baseball Hall of Fame, dated May 24th, 1962. And they wrote to Rogers Hornsby, and they said, Dear Rogers, when I last saw you in Florida, you told me, or you told Sid Kenner that you and your family would be in Cooperstown for our Hall of Fame Day, July 23rd. Invitations have not yet gone out, but I'm trying to make hotel reservations for those who will be present. I should like to reserve 2 rooms for you, and if you'll let me know the date of your arrival and departure. Sincerely, Paul. I guess Paul was, I don't know who that was. I guess he was the president of the Hall of Fame. Paul Kerr, actually. Now that it's right up there. I can read, so it's right up there. But Rogers wrote back, "Dear Paul, thanks for this letter. I am sorry we won't be able to attend the game. I hope sometime in the near future. Sincerely, Rogers Hornsby." And I believe this was May 1962. Let me do a quick lookup because I believe, I'm gonna set this, oh man, hold on. I'm gonna set this down. Do a quick lookup because I don't remember when Rogers Hornsby died, but I seem to remember it wasn't long after this, which made it really cool to me. Well, sorry, that's going to take too long. Hold on, I'm going to pause it. Okay, I was right. So this is dated May 24th, 1962. Rogers Hornsby died January 5th, 1963 at the age of 66. So literally a few months later, Rogers Hornsby passed away, but he signed this letter. And I love the lettering, the engraving of the letterhead, all of that. This is just so cool. Again, to me, history. All right, we're going to get to some multi-sign pieces, which include a lot of my favorite things. So hang on one second. Okay, so the first, you guys know how I love my baseball art, and Ron Lewis is probably my second favorite artist after Dick Perez. But he did this poster called 300 Victories, and you can see how many greats are on it. There's Nolan Ryan, Don Sutton, Carlton, Seaver, Perry, Necro, Spahn, and Wynn. And each of the men have signed it and put their number of wins below their name. So I absolutely love this piece. It's hanging in my office. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is this piece right here. This is another Ron Lewis piece and the 3000 Hit Club. What I love about it is not only does it include all the guys that are pictured there, but it also includes some guys that had not yet made the 3000 Hit Club. Tony Gwynn has signed it. Wade Boggs has signed it. Cal Ripken Jr. has signed it. Paul Molitor has signed it. So there's more than just the guys pictured here, but all the guys that have signed it were part of the 3000 Hit Club. So that is a super awesome piece. And the last large multi-sign piece that I'm going to show, all the rest will be back smaller, but this one is a classic in the hobby. It is one of the most sought after poster-sized multi-sign pieces that exists. This is the 500 home run group, painted as they were in Yankee Stadium. Again, a Ron Lewis piece. This is actually the proof version. And the way you can tell that is down here. Ron Lewis signed it and numbered it. It's hand numbered to 1,000. And all the autographs on here are so clean. You'll see these in a whole lot of different ways. Guys signing on their legs and all kinds of stuff. This was the one I wanted of all the different versions and varieties, and absolutely love it. I've had this for a long time. It sits right in front of me at my desk. It's the centerpiece when you walk into the room, and it will always be that way. I just love it so much. The autos are so clean. All right, let's get to some more stuff. All right, I needed a little more space for this next group of items. So, wow. I don't even know. Let's see, where do I start? I'll start with this one. Again, no order necessarily. So this book right here is a celebration book. It's a book that came with the celebration set by Dick Perez. Each set came with one of these books. What's special about mine is it has inside of it, you can see the first picture. This is number, tells you it corresponds with each set, had its own book. This was done in 1989. And so, yeah, you can start to see. I'm just going to turn page by page. There are so many Hall of Fame autographs in this. Aaron Banks Aparicio. Okay. Bench, Berra, Boudreau, Ray Dandridge on that page. And so these are just basically, showing that what the cards look like. And just a bunch of guys that signed it. Those pages are thick. Bobby Dorr, Rick Farrell. Billy Herman, Catfish Hunter, Monty Irvin. So somebody went through, and that's going to be true of a lot of these things, painstaking care. That page is all signed. I love it. Killebrew, Kell, Kaline, Kiner. These are things that to me are just so hard to value. I mean, how do you value something like this? This page is great because it's got Mantle, Al Lopez, Buck Leonard, Bob Lemon. To me, pieces like this are unique. I doubt there's another one like this. There's Eddie Matthews, McCovey, Marshall, and Mize. Stan Musial, Brooks Robinson, Pee Wee Reese. Slaughter, Snyder, Spawn, and Stardrill. Billy Williams, Carl Yastrzemski on the last page. So yeah, pieces like that are so special to me. I love that. I love that it's like this stays closed 99.9% of the time. So it's protected, it just stays in a box, and I can preserve it. Okay, if you thought that was good, wait till the next one. I'm gonna show you the next one in a second. Okay, for this next piece, I'm gonna go handheld here because it deserves it. What you're seeing here is basically a program from a gallery presentation by Dick Perez. There's the letter of authenticity. So this is from a gallery in Pennsylvania, and it just talks about Dick Perez. And inside of this, there's Mr. Perez, talks about him. This is a beautiful, glossy, just very large deal, and talks about all these different things. Hall of Fame postcards. Got a couple of signatures on that. Al Lopez, Bob Lemon. Ray Dandridge down here. Talking about the great moments, which that's a great moments card, and there's some of the paintings. Red Sheendaints and George Kell for their great moments. Billy Williams over here. You got his oil work. And look at that beautiful Joe DiMaggio. And again, this stays closed, so that autograph will look like that for as long as I own it. I mean, this is gorgeous. And he talks about the celebration set. You've got Aparicio, Boudreau, Bobby Dorr, Rick Farrell again. More celebration. Kiner, Matthews, Mize, Slaughter, Spawn. This is a huge book, pamphlet, whatever you want to call it. And it talks about his time with the Phillies. He was their official artist for a while. You've got this beautiful painting signed by Mike Schmidt and Steve Carlton. Some other Phillies stuff. You've got Robin Roberts, Pete Rose, Richie Ashburn right there. Diamond Kings, of course. That one's signed by Ozzie Smith. I actually thought about getting Winfield and Ripken to sign this at the National. I still might do that someday. And then on the back here, you've got Johnny Bench, Duke Snyder, just under miscellany, and then Dick Allen down here. Hopefully he'll be a Hall of Famer someday, but yeah, how cool is that item. Yeah, I don't even know. Again, how do you value something like that? It's just beautiful. All right, next piece. All right, next up. This is so freaking cool. I wish I could be even wider, but this is from the Baseball Hall of Fame Civic Luncheon. It was in the city of Cincinnati, and this is the program that they used, and it talks about the introduction of honored guest members of baseball's Hall of Fame, and it lists all the guys that were at this lunch. Ironically, most of them signed this piece. You've got Charlie Gehringer, Paul Wainer, Rogers Hornsby. Up top, you've got Jimmy Fox right there, Mickey Cochran over here on the left. You've got Carl Rich, who was the mayor, Cincinnati mayor. Connie Mack is right there. There is Tris Speaker. It's a pretty rare one. This is the only Charles Kidd Nichols autograph I have. He's a Hall of Famer. And so to look at something like this, and there's a couple other, I guess, dignitaries down here. I couldn't really tell who they were, but maybe it's the governor. Governor was there, addressed by the governor of the state of Ohio. So this is a big deal, you know. This was this awesome, and somebody got all these signatures while they were there, and somebody kept it and preserved it. Somebody has done some research and was able to tell me kind of the time frame that this was. I just don't remember what it was, honestly. But there are some guys that haven't signed it. Cy Young is not on here anywhere. Carl Hubbell's not on here. Fred Clark is not on here, but all the others are. And it's actually, I'm going to very carefully pull this out because this is a super thin piece of paper. But on the back are a whole bunch of other signatures. You've got Daffy Dean, who is brother to Dizzy Dean. Denny McClain is down here, Red Shingdienst, Allie Reynolds, Ken Boyer. So what I don't know is, were these added later? Were they at the event? It seems unlikely they were there, especially with Denny McClain on there. But there, that's better even out of the thing, but I don't like to keep it out of the protection. It's very fragile and so cool. This is something I've thought about sending in just to get slabbed up. So yeah, there's the COA for it from JSA. It says dated 1952. Does that sound right? I'd never seen a date on it. So 1952 could be right. But there it is. Love pieces like this. I got another one coming right up. Okay, this one I got in December 2019 from an REA auction. This is a 1931 Chicago Cubs program. In fact, it says July 23rd right there in pencil. And I love this so much. It's got Wrigley Field there. I mean, the colors of this are just beautiful. On the inside is an unscored scorecard with all the advertising. It's got all the players here. Kiki Kyler, who you saw earlier. Hornsby, Gabby Hartnett, who is a Hall of Famer. Down here, you got Rabbit Moranville, Hall of Famer. So just so cool. But on the back is where it's really awesome. So you got Rogers Hornsby up here and Riggs Stevenson. But the big one on this one is, this is my only Hack Wilson autograph, and that's right there. That's why I bought this, was for Hack Wilson. It also has COA from PSA, full letter. And I'm glad this isn't encapsulated, because then you would not be able to open up the program and Again, I got to be really careful with it. It's fragile for sure. But there you go. Drink Prima Special. Enjoy a cool bottle during the game. America's largest selling brew. And then butter. Like this stuff just is so awesome. All right, let's get to another one. All right, so last, certainly not least, is I'm bookending this video with the first item I showed was the ball, the most sentimental item in my collection. This item I'm about to show you, items technically, is my favorite item that I have. And it is just because of what it is. And so excited, so hang on. All right, so this is one I need more than a couple of hands, so my son's helping me film. This is an amazing piece, as you can see, 1993 Hall of Fame yearbook, and year Reggie went in by himself. Great Leroy Neiman painting with a beautiful Reggie Jackson autograph on it. If that was all this was, that would be pretty awesome just by itself. But it's not. As I start going inside, the yearbook every year talked about the Hall of Fame, its history. You can see the first class, or not the first class, this was at the opening of the Hall of Fame, the famous picture with Ruth and so many other amazing players. But inside, throughout, somebody went through and got just tons of signatures in here. And again, they're on this beautiful glossy paper, so the Sharpie really sticks out. It's incredibly bold, and a lot of guys, you know, put Hall of Fame, like Ashburn up here, Rizzuto, Carlton. And as I keep flipping through it, not every page has autographs. That's all right. But then it goes into, there's about Reggie Jackson. Then as we go through the archives, the rules, and then it gets to all the different Hall of Famers. So this is the Pioneers and Executives. And I don't think there's any signatures on those. They were, most of those guys, long dead. Couldn't sign this in 93. You got managers. I don't think any of these are signed either. Then we get into some pictures, and you could see some guys like Seaver signed on that full page photograph of him. You've got Gaylord Perry. Here's this is great. Induction weekend, 1996. So this was actually acquired. Somebody bought this program in 93 and kept it at least through 96 and got Gaylord Perry at Collector's World in Cooperstown. So there's the Gaylord Perry signature. So again, maximum effort to make this happen. There is Hoyt Wilhelm, Robin Roberts, Juan Marichal, Jim Palmer, Warren Spahn here. Whitey Ford. Fergie Jenkins. And a lot of guys would sign on their profile, you know, next to their little blurb. Hal Newhouser. He had to be pretty old in 93 and beyond. Bob Feller, Raleigh Fingers. Rick Farrell. Oh, I should get Johnny Bench to sign that. That would be cool, wouldn't it, Palmer? Mm-hmm. That would be awesome. Yogi Berra. My man Lou Gehrig right there. Can't just gloss over that. Harmon Killebrew, beautiful signature there. Bobby Dorr for the second baseman. There's Carew. He could Maybe get him to sign that too. Red Sheen dates down here. Brooks Robinson signed on the third baseman intro page. George Kell, Eddie Matthews. Shortstops. Surprised Ernie Bank. Well, he might have been. I can't remember when he passed away. There's Aparicio, Pee Wee Reese, Monty Irvin in the Negro Leaguers section. Let's keep going. Billy Williams for left fielders. Carl Yastrzemski right there. Willie Stargell, Lou Brock, Ralph Kiner. It's getting hot in here, so we turned on the fan. Center fielders, this is where it gets pretty awesome. Yeah, here we go. Look at this page. Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. That may be the most beautiful Mickey Mantle signature I've ever seen. It's gigantic and it's bold, and the Snyder is awesome. And then Willie just signed it really small on his picture down there, but so there's those three. I don't think there's many more, but I thought it was worth going through this to show you guys. There's Frank Robinson on the right fielders page. Al Kaline. I think, Slaughter. There's Sam Thompson. You guys saw him earlier. And then a couple umpires. Let's see, I don't think any. Oh, Al Barlick signed it. So I believe, here's the COA for it. There are 40 signatures in this book total, which is unbelievable. And again, pieces like this that are multi-signed, and I just absolutely love them. Okay, last up, certainly not least, if you have stayed around with me for this long, I appreciate it. I'm going to bookend this video. I showed you at the very beginning the most sentimental item that I have, autographed item in my collection with the ball. And this last item, or items more accurately, is my best item, my favorite item that I have. And let's just show it. So this is Hall of Fame program from 1983. Two biggies that year were Robinson and Aaron. Historic year for the Hall of Fame. And I have this one and this one. And you can see, I'll start on this side actually and go through the programs. There's nothing on the inside of these at all. Everything's done on the outside. And whoever did this, God love them for going through and being so meticulous and so awesome, acquiring all of these signatures on these programs. And I am thrilled that I have this in my collection. It's certainly a unique piece, one of a kind. Find another one. But I'm going to start up here. You can see Tom Seaver, Boudreau, Sheen Daints, all these guys, Johnny Bench. I'll just point out even guys like Happy Chandler. This is the big one here. That's Roy Campanella right there. And you've got Hal Newhouser, the great Don Sutton over here, Yastrzemski, Joe Morgan, Catfish Hunter, Gaylord Perry, Bob Gibson, Wilhelm Fingers. So there's a ton of them there. no question. I think there is 80-ish signatures, if I remember right, total on these two things. So that's a great one. Pee Wee Reese. But then, again, these are two individual programs. I just got them in the same holder. And then there's this one. Frank Robinson signed on himself. Hank Aaron signed by himself and into Eddie Matthews over here. But you got James Cool Papa Bell, Orrin Spawn, Robin Roberts, Brooks Robinson, Whitey Ford, Killebrew, Stargell, Banks. There's Joe DiMaggio right there. Enos Slaughter, Appling, Bill Dickey, Billy Herman. Up here, Joe Cronin, Monty Irvin, Al Lopez, Bob Feller, Willie Mays right there at the top. Mantles right there. Reggie Jackson right here along the spine. Then you've got Don Drysdale, McCovey, Stan Musial right here. Ralph Kiner, Joe Sewell, Sandy Koufax, Duke Snyder, Juan Marichal, Buck Leonard, Bill Terry, Yogi Berra. Love that Pete Rose is on this. Obviously, he was thinking he was going to get in someday, or the guy who did all this thought that someday. And that still may be true. And then Ted Williams right here. Beautiful big Ted Williams signature. I mean, the effort, the just thoughtfulness that somebody had to get all of these signatures. Brooks Robinson, Whitey Ford, Johnny Mize, Killebrew. I mean, I can't even imagine how long that took and how difficult this was to get one and then fill up another one. Years, this must have taken, years and years, this must have taken somebody carrying this around with them and continuing to add to it every year is so cool. And so that is easily my favorite piece, just because of how many guys are on it, how many signatures it represents. And I'll share this with you. So here's the receipt from Heritage. I still have it. I bought this from Heritage Auctions May 14th, 2015, so 9 years ago. And I paid a grand total of $970 for this. I mean, I have no idea what a piece like this is worth today. Again, don't care. Just like the hammer price was actually $750. That's crazy. But when you add tax and buyer's premium and all that stuff, $970. This was such a big item. Heritage over in Dallas. I drove over to grab it. I didn't want them mailing it, and so I literally went and picked it up, and just so excited. I don't know what's a piece like that worth today. I doubt that people even appreciate what it is and what it took to get it. That's true of all these multi-sign pieces that I love so much. I don't think people understand what it would take to make that happen. So that is it, guys. That is my 50 best items in my collection. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below. We'll talk to you soon and keep collecting.